how you end up creating this seller. What are the backgrounds for building that software?
There's really a lot of challenges that sellers are facing on a day-to-day basis.
And in terms of SellerMate, what does it do? So if you
Right.
can just give us an overview of, on the basic functions.
We fall into the other bucket we call as white box automation, which means so you can always look at data, get directional insights for the day-to-day itself, and then make decisions.
And normally a seller will always think, okay, I need to spend hundreds of thousands per month in order to be on the DSP side.
Ecom Squeezed podcast.
Welcome back to Ecom Squeezed. I am your host, Sebastian, founder of Retail-Outsource. Today we have a special guest, Avinash. He is the co-founder of SellerMate.AI, a software built for Amazon PPC, and it's now been trusted by over 2,000 brands and agencies across 20 countries, managing over $1 billion in ad spend. So welcome to the show, Avinash.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. Really happy to be here on the call.
Great. So could you just give us a background how you end up creating this SellerMate? What are the backgrounds for building that software?
Right. Interesting question, to be honest. So three of us, my co-founders, Akash Singh, me, and our CTO and co-founder, Akash Verma, three of us come from very different backgrounds. Personally, for example, I have been building AI products for the last 14 years. It just happened that we had a common friend who is a seller on e-commerce, and a few years back he came to us with a problem that, hey, I'm struggling with this problem, and being the techies, he wanted us to figure out if we can help him out. And that's where SellerMate actually started. It was just a reporting problem from one of our friends where we started building this out. And once we started getting deep into the Amazon ecosystem, we figured out, there's really a lot of challenges that sellers are facing on a day-to-day basis. Be it transparency, optimization, taking decisions fast, taking the right decisions. And we started building out. And we have been closely collaborating with a lot of agencies as well as brands building out SellerMate for the last close to 3 years now. And helping them out. We're still building out very fast.
Mm-hmm.
But
the landscape is changing a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
And in terms of SellerMate.AI, what does it do? Like, is that a hybrid system or is that fully automated? And what are the functions that you have, tools it have? So if you can just give us an overview of, on the basic functions.
Absolutely. So, when we talk about any PPC tool, we generally like to classify it into two different categories. Like there are two niches. One we call as black box automations and one we call as white box automations. So black box automations are folks like Perpetua or, there are a lot of players where you as a seller or you as an agency just set a target and let the software take over whatever you want to do. We don't fall into that bucket. We fall into the other bucket we call as white box automation, which means we don't restrict the visibility into how or why software is taking decision. So you as a seller or you as a PPC manager at an agency, you define when you want certain actions to be taken. And now those actions can be anything from I want to change or increase bids for targets that are doing well for me, or I want to negate certain targets if I am losing a lot of money, or I want to adjust my budget dynamically, or I want to pause my campaigns for certain times of the day, or this bunch of problems that people face. Or sometimes it's also inventory for certain ASINs is running low, so I want to make sure that I pause ads on those ASINs for certain time and then restart automatically after certain time. All of this forms the very core of what you can do at SellerMate. Now, to do that, you have multiple options, and maybe I can show you a quick demo if that's okay.
Yeah, please. If you can share it, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely. So let me share my screen. Perfect. So this is just a demo account that I'm showing you, right? So this is like a homepage for anybody, a brand or a seller that's coming in. We start with a high-level audit report. This is for ads. You get similar reports for retail or for Product Explorer, which is essentially, an ASIN level view, right? So this is like a breakdown of performance trends, match type-wise comparisons, placement type comparisons, and then the beautiful part of this system is that you can customize all of it. You can build your own dashboards the way you want. You get certain things out of the box, for example, this report, But you can build your own report and say, hey, this is what I want to see every day or every week or every month, right? So you can alter the breakdowns, you can alter all of those things. So when we start about it, we start at a very high level of performance analytics. But then when we start digging deeper into these analytics and we want to take actions, that's where SellerMate comes into picture, and you can do a lot of things. For example, I can come here, select, let's say, in this case, 63 campaigns in one go, and say I want to change the bidding strategy for any campaign that's not working well for me. So for that, what I can do is I can simply say, for example, any campaign that has a ROAS of less than to I want to restrict my spending, so I can select all and say, change my bidding strategy to down only. Right. Similarly, you can take actions across targets uh, or across search terms. For example, in this case, 63 campaigns, you will have a bunch of targets. I'll just wait for it to load. So for example, you have 8,800 targets. So you can do the same thing. Each of these headers is a filter. So you can filter on, let's say, if any keyword where my ACOS is better than my certain targets, or my conversion rate is good or better than my average conversion rate, I want to bid a little bit more on that. So you can do that. So for example, I can very well say my overall conversion rate for this account is 3%. So anyway, any target which has more than 4% conversion rate, I found 24 targets, I can select all and say I want to increase the bid. This is called bulk action. This is like a very granular view where you can take actions across all of your campaigns in one go without losing any control. Works across search terms, negative. For example, you can look at for all the campaigns in this case. So this is a demo account that I'm showing you. So each campaign, 3 placement types, what's the performance of it at a placement level, and how do you want to increase the bids at a certain position or reduce the bids at certain position. Now, uh, this what I'm calling as bulk action. What you can also do is, if you have set SOPs in progress, that for example, Sebastian, you have run agencies, you have run brands, right? So at certain scale, you always come up with your own SOPs, that this is when I want to change bids, right? So if you can give me an example, what you would like to do on day-to-day basis in PPC.
Yeah, sure. So, for example, one of the points that you mentioned is to find out low performing keyword, maybe to reduce the budget or reducing the bids
Right.
on a basic level.
Right. So for example, targets I showed you, you can do that. Now, if you have SOP set, what you can also do is you can automate the whole thing. You can say that, and this is where, you can build a system that you can fully customize. Okay. So let's say, you talked about low performing keyword, right? So you can define what low performing means for you. So, and I'll just give you an example. For example, I can say if ACOS is greater than, and it doesn't need to be a fixed value, that like it happens in most of the system, like ACOS greater than 20%. Now it can depend upon product line, campaign, a bunch of things, right? So what we have also done is we have given you the ability to set your goals at an account level, at a campaign level. So for example, I can say if ACOS is greater than 1.5 times my account campaign goal, and already has decent number of clicks, so you can say it has more than significant clicks, right? Or you can set a simple value that says, okay, if it is a more than 10 clicks, in that case, I want to reduce the bid by 10%. Is it making sense? I'm not sure if.
Yes, it makes sense. But is there any for individual keywords? Can we play around with the same system? I can see that you have done with the campaign and ad group level, but can we do that for a single keywords?
So you can set rules if you want only specific keywords to be acted upon. You can always. So do you have an example? So like, do you want it for branded keywords, non-branded keywords? Is that what you are getting at?
Yeah, exactly. For example, for the branded keywords, it converts well. So the bids might be lower, if you're a growing brand. So in that case, we want to limit the budget for those keywords, and maybe some of the keywords might be too broad, and I want to limit the budget as well, and maybe promote some of the keywords from that list based on the performance. So you can put a lot of filters.
Exactly. No, that's a great question. So what you can do, what we actually do is you can tag your keywords as branded, non-branded, for example, competitor keywords, generic keywords, branded keywords, right? BCG that people usually talk about. And then you can say apply this to only keywords that are tagged branded. So you can do that. It has tag system where you can
Okay.
say apply only to keywords that are tagged branded. Or let's say you want to exclude branded keywords. What you can also do is you can say, for example, let's say I'm just taking an example. Your Nike. So you want to say any keyword that has Nike. I don't want to act on it. I'll create a separate system for it. So it will exclude any keyword or any search term that has Nike from the rule. Okay. Or you can say any keyword that has tag, let's say, uh, branded. Let me see if I have. Okay, I have a different category. So keyword test tag tool, for example, in this case, I have only then act on it. So you can create a
Okay.
separate tool for your branded keywords, for your competitor keywords, for your generic keywords. And see, interesting thing is you can actually, so if you can come up with a logic, you can create a system to do an automated tagging. Okay, so for example, you can say any keyword text that contains, in this case, for example, Nike should be tagged, let's say branded keyword in this case. So
Yeah.
you can create multiple categories. An alternative. So even if you're Nike, you want a different tag for your, let's say, uh, canvas shoes and different for your sports shoes versus you have multiple product lines. So you can create these category tags and have different rules run for different category tags as well.
Got it, Avinash. Got it. So basically, we can handpick certain workflows and run
Yes,
it through here and automate
yes,
it, right? So,
exactly, exactly.
is there any limit? For example, not all tasks done by a human can be automated over here.
Absolutely.
So, what are the limitations?
So see, the system is only as good as how well you can define it. Okay. So we have had accounts who only come here, let's say, once a month to adjust the rules or thresholds. And we also have people, so, do you see this, auto execute here?
Yeah.
So we also have people who say, okay, I want to set up a rule and then I want to review the results and then take actions manually. So if you don't enable auto execute, what will happen is you'll get a list of logs right here of the results of your automation, and then you can say I want to act on it or not. Okay, now in terms of so see, when we also talk about breadth of the system, right? So you can cover your keywords, search terms, placements. What you can also cover is what we, inventory automations, okay, and campaign budget automations that work on a sort of like a completely independent system. So you can say if my days in hand inventory is less than 10 days, I want to pause the advertising on that ASIN and automatically enable once it's back in stock. So it's not actually limited to just PPC. You also get retail data into the system, or you also get data. The whole platform is built on top of Amazon marketing stream. And what that means is you can build rules for today's data. So let's say you can say if my live budget usage is greater than 80%, and let's say it's a good campaign, meaning it has an ACOS of less than 25%, then I want to increase the budget by 30% or 20. And I want to do it maybe, few times a day. I want to do it check at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m. So what will happen is your good campaigns will not run out of budget. So we'll try to build the system in a way that replicates what you typically do on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
Is it
Okay.
making sense?
Yes, yes, of course. Yes, Avinash. So, you mentioned about a lot of data, right? The keyword target, search
Yes.
term reports, and all those. Do you have the integration of search query performance reports on this
Yes,
platform?
yes, yes, we do. So let me show you an example. So I'll just show you a couple of examples. So for example, this is what we have built. We call it as Product Explorer. So this is everything at an SN level, and I'll come back to this. But I'll also show you SQP report. And we're actually built on top of what's already there in SQP report. So we built a system we call as Keyword Explorer. So let's say your SQP report from Amazon has a list of 1,000 keywords with varying degrees of performance, right? So what we have done is we have picked up everything that's there in the performance report, and then giving you a better way to look at those keywords. So for example, in this case, Lego you have actively targeted, but fidget toys you have not targeted. Do you see this? And if you're targeted, is it broad, exact phrase? You can click, you can see, right? But if it is not actively targeted, you can launch campaigns from right here, or you can add it to your existing campaign. Okay,
Okay.
right? Similarly, you can do the same things at an SN level as well. Okay. Now, so how do you use SQP report right now?
Means the same way, if it's not included in the campaign, for example, we might
Mhm.
include that keyword on a basic level, and maybe on the second option, if a keyword is performing, converting well, but we have
Right.
limited budget, maybe we can increase the budget for that keyword. So there are a lot of ways that we can use search query performance report, right?
Absolutely. What we have tried to do is, for example, for each search query, we automatically out of the box give you certain metrics like gaps. So for example, you see this click through rate gap. So CTR gap, if it is positive, means you are converting better than your category average. Or if your conversion CVR gap is positive, means you are converting better than your uh, category average. So then you can focus on it, add more budget, increase the bids on those keywords.
Okay. So just to confirm, Avinash, so you will take the average of the category and then compare with this
That
campaign account and show
Yes,
the gap, and then
yes,
decide if you want to increase the budget or decrease the budget. Yeah. Okay.
absolutely,
Okay.
right. Uh, Similarly, what we have also tried to do. So see, we have focused a lot on building system that aids you in your workflow, right? So you talked about. So you had an interesting question like you can automate certain things, you cannot automate certain things, right? And that's why I'm talking about this, right? Now your strategy on looking at a SQP report may change. So what we have tried to do is we have tried to give you all the versions of the SQP report that are there, the way you would like to look at it, and we have enabled you to take actions based on whatever you want to do, right? Similarly, even at a product level, for example, this is at an SN level, you are seeing what are the ad types you are running on each SN, what are the targeting you are doing on each SN, uh, ad data, retail data, inventory data, all in one place. Okay, and let's say if I click any one of these, right, so you see a sort of a product DNA. Overall, how much am I spending on product, what's the distribution like, what's my marketing funnel like, what campaigns is this particular SN part of, and you can pick those campaigns and optimize from right here. Okay, right. So similarly, when talking about data, what we also try to do is we try to give you the best versions of data the way you want it. So for example, when we talk about uh, day parting, right? So do you usually do day parting? So you see, I'll tell you. So we have seen people get a lot out of knowing when their customers intend to buy. All right, so people may want to pause campaigns, or people may want to enhance the bids at different times of the day. So for that, what we have tried to do is we have tried to give people data at a granular level, at an hourly level, or so that they can, I'll just let it load for a bit. I think it's running a little slow right now. But what we have tried to do is, so this is where we try to differentiate ourselves as well. We try to give you the best possible versions of the data in the way that you may want it, and then we let you take decision. I'm not sure if this is that making sense, but I'll just illustrate with an example. So for example, if
Yeah,
you
yeah. Means,
want to
means Avinash, I have means we have used a lot of softwares, right? Within PPs like AdBrew,
yeah,
maybe AdBrew, and we have
yeah, yeah,
Atom 11,
great tools, yeah,
Ad Labs, so plenty of Atomic. So what's differentiate you from
right.
those big players?
Good question. Great question, actually. So, see, we've tried to build a system that's a little bit more comprehensive than some of the tools that you said out, as an example of tools that are out there, right? But at the same time, we have tried to retain the transparency portion of it. So, I'll just give you an example. A lot of these tools will come in with their own set of strategies, and they'll ask you, okay, this is how you run Amazon ads. We try to lean the other way. We say we'll provide you every lever that you need to build your strategy, and you can build your strategy. If you need help, we'll help you out. That's the core philosophical difference. So see, at certain point in time, almost all tools on a very surface level feels like everybody's offering the same thing, but that's not true. What differentiates good tools or great tools is, can you make changes uh, in the tool based on what your brand requires at that point in time. So that's why, when, for example, in this case, the screen is already open, but when we talk about day parting, right? So Sunday to Saturday time of day, we give you heat map so that you can decide, okay, my conversion rate is great at certain time, my spend pattern is a little different at other times. Maybe I need to look at my bids at differently. So rather than letting a system completely dictate when you should be increasing or reducing your bids, you can define your full panel of strategies for different types of use cases that you can find in your data, right? You will see tools out there who will say that, okay, maybe make the bid changes a certain way, right? It's a good place, but we believe that there's a lot of category level distinction that brands know or that agencies know that they should be able to take advantage of. And that's why, when we talk about automation, or when we talk about day parting, or when we talk about bulk actions, right? So you have the ability to change your strategy based on your needs. The tool is not dictating what you should be doing at a certain point in time. If you need help, what we have done is, we have built systems that can guide you. So we have built AI recommendations. I'll just show you. So we built AI recommendations that can show you what type of. Just give me a second. I'll just share again. I'll just pick up an account there where I can show you that.
While it's loading, on your website on the homepage, it says stop reacting to last week's data. So that means, are you making a lot of calls with Amazon's API? So Amazon is quite fussy about how much calls you have
Right.
can make.
It
So
is.
how do you come up with the live data with those restrictions in place?
Right. So the whole system is built on top of what's called as Amazon Marketing Stream. It's not the typical API that most of the
Okay.
tools are called. So Marketing Stream is like, you get the data at every 5-minute interval, and we collate the data at our end. A lot of tools, what they do is they rely on Amazon to collate the data, and that's why they have to wait for, let's say, 4 hours, 6 hours. Sometimes, if you're, let's say, working with Vendor Central, you may have to wait for 3 days for data to update, or 2 days for data to update. We, on the other hand, we give you data for the day, so you can see today's data up to the last hour, right? So you're not, so obviously, so there's always updates that Amazon does. The attribution window is longer, right? But we take care of that as we go along, so you can always look at data, get directional insights for the day to day itself, and then make decisions. And that's why, when what I was showing you in terms of campaign budget optimization, or budget addition based on the consumption, that's for the today's data, right? So even when you look at bulk action, so we have today's consumption right now. So this is the live consumption of each campaign that's there. So you can look at the data and say, hey, I want to increase budget for certain campaigns because it's already consuming, rather than you doing an analysis every 7 days and figuring out, okay, what's my budget utilization percentage. Again, a lot, that nothing wrong with that, but that's too reactive right now. You don't There's always peaks and troughs when it comes to campaign performance, so you don't want to miss out on a good performance day because you didn't have enough budget, right? So that's the difference. Now, even on AI recommendations that I was talking about, so we give you recommendations. We give recommendations to sellers, and that can be based on hey, a certain placement is doing well, or a target is not doing well, and you can see a trend. And then based on that, for example, top of search is doing good for this particular campaign, so you should boost your top of search placement for this campaign. Or it can be around bid optimizations or finding new targets, all of those things. So what we have done is, going back to the discussion we were having, right? If you want to implement a certain strategy, you are free to do that. But if you are not, and if you are starting out, we give you a lot of AI tools that help you do that, and we give you support, a dedicated support team that helps you think through problems and help you get through, resolve the issues or resolve the challenges that you're facing in your account. Okay, so this is one example that I was talking about. In terms of AI recommendation, what you also do is you have our own native uh, AI system built, and this is a much better system than what you would see in most of the tools out there. It has the full context of what Amazon is, how you should analyze Amazon, what type of data. So for example, in this case, I just asked it, can you summarize the story behind my performance change? Now imagine you are a agency who had just got a new account, or imagine you are a brand who wants to do sort of a monthly review. You don't have to tell it what type of analysis you want. You can be very specific and it will do a specific analysis for you, but you can start very broad. It will fetch the data, it will fetch the right metrics. And for example, if you wanted, so it automatically created the dashboard. You can look at that dashboard, all of it via the AI. You're not building it out manually. Okay, so I just asked it a question, can you do an analysis. It figured out what's my spend versus sales, what are my anomalies, what are my KPIs, what type of ads am I running. And based on that, it sort of builds it. It'll load slowly. It's an AI dashboard. So it keeps on getting updated. But it's not just this. You can simply ask it, can you build a day parting strategy for me? And it will fetch your heat map, it will fetch the relevant campaigns, and it will build a strategy for you. So you are not left alone in case you don't, you need additional support. So you get a support from AI, which is built on top of Amazon data, trained for Amazon data. It's not a general AI. It has full context of your account. So for example, this is the dashboard that it created automatically. I didn't create this dashboard.
Okay, yeah, that's great, Avinash. So let me put a scenario
Mhm.
where a client comes to you, right? It
Mhm.
means they have started using the software, and they're quite established, okay, in this case, and they have their ASINs ranking higher, and they want to use PPC as a tool to maintain ranking. So the PPC will go and check the ranking. If it drops, then maybe increase the bid or increase the placements, for example. So
Right.
there are different variables that
Right.
we can do, right? So in that case, how does the workflow look like on the software?
Well, a great question. So what we did was we built a tool that tracks your ranking against certain keywords. So there are certain things that you get from SQP, but let me show you an example. Let me quickly pull that up.
So while that's loading, you offer that custom dashboard, right? A white label
Yeah.
dashboard for
Yes,
agencies.
agencies have specific requirements for their own needs. So let me actually share my screen. I'll show you that as well. Okay. When it comes to white labeling, there are two aspects to it. What agencies want to do is they have a lot of reporting load, weekly reporting, status updates, monthly reports, right? So, and usually those are set formats. So what we have done is we have given you the ability to build out your own reports, okay, and share those with clients directly, or you can schedule them as well. Then they can go out as an email. And in the full context, these are labeled report. What that means is, so for example, these are smart boards that you can create, let's say standard template that you follow for monthly or weekly reporting, right? Now, any so like let's say you created a report that you want to share with your customers every week or every few days. What you can do is I'll just show you an example. Just give me 1 second, I'll pull that up. So let me share my screen. Okay, so this can be like a very generic dashboard that you have. This is what goes to your customers. This is a fully customizable link on top. For example, it can be, let's say, dashboard dot your brand name.com or dashboard dot your agency name.com, right? And your client gets sort of their own credentials. They can log in. They only see your branding. They're not seeing SellerMate branding at any place. They can log in and they'll see only the dashboards that you've shared with customers in the screen that I was showing you. So you have the ability to mark which all dashboards do you want to share with customers. So you can share with clients, and they'll only see those dashboards within the link.
Got it.
Okay,
Okay.
and your logo, your brand colors, your you know uh, whatever format of reports that you have, you can fully customize the whole thing, including the URL on top, right, end to end. Now, uh, what you can also do in white labeling is you can schedule these reports. So for example, I can say this is a set format and I want to send it to my customers, let's say every Monday, or I want to send it every month on first. So you have the ability to automate the reporting part of your process. Now, since you have already built the format, you don't need to actually look at dashboards. The dashboards get auto-populated, the data gets, you have the ability to, uh, you know, fully customize how much data do you want to send. So you can say, okay, I want to send it for the last 1 month. So I can say last 30 days, and I can say, skip the last 3 days. So that attribution window you gives enough time for Amazon. So you can build out these systems that takes away a lot of load for you as an agency, right?
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Now, you were also talking about figuring out, okay, I want to stay at a certain position, right? So what we have done is we built a system that tracks the ASINs against each keyword that you are having. So for example, green in this case is your ASIN. So you are ranking up on top. We track till
Nice display.
20.
So you're including the thumbnail as well.
Exactly, right. And what you can do is, let's say, I'm not here on top. So this is SP rank 1 to 4 and then organic rank, right? And I'm not on top. So what I can do is I can click a keyword and say, okay, this is part of probably 6, 7, 8, however many campaigns that are there. And you can adjust the bid from right here. Okay. So well, let me see if any of these keywords is already part of active campaigns. I'll let it load. But yeah, so you can look at it, and what you also do is, so for example, in this case, this one is part of 7 different campaigns, different bids. You can edit the bids and you get that suggested bid range and everything right here. Performance metrics, you can change the bids from right here and say, okay, I want to update the bid. So think about your sale period where you want to stay on top of search, or in general, your brand really wants to invest on your branded keywords and doesn't want any competitor to stay there. You can manage all of that.
Can we automate this the workflow then?
Not right now, but we are in the process of doing it. So what we are doing was we built this very some time back, to be honest. But we are figuring out what are the best use cases, and we've found out some of them very interesting. So we have had people come in and say, "I am on rank 1 on organic search. I don't care if I'm anywhere between 1 to 5. Maybe I'm spending, I'm on rank 1 organically, I'm on rank 1 and 2 in sponsored ads. If I am on rank 1 on sponsored, organically, then I want to reduce the bids and make sure I stay on 3 or 4, not on 1 or 2. I don't want to spend too much money, right? The other use case that we have seen is, I don't care, I want to stay on top first 1 and 2 for certain keywords. I don't care how much money I spend. So we are figuring out these use cases. We have finally figured this out, and this should be part of our release pretty soon,
Got
where
it.
you
Got
can
it.
say, I want to stay on,
Got it. Great, Avinash.
sponsored
And
position 2, 3, 4,
also,
let's say, and
before we go, I want to touch base on
provided I'm in the top 5
AMC and
organically,
also
things like that.
DSP.
Like you can
So
set those
on
conditions.
the AMC side, you have the option to create the
Right.
audience, right? And also, I think Amazon have opened the MCP for from Feb, right?
Hello, Subhashan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I think I cut out. There was some.
Oh, right. Okay. So let me repeat that. So Amazon have AMC and DSP, and I think your platform also support that,
Yes.
both of them. So I want to start with AMC.
Mhm.
I think for AMC, you can build audience, right, within SellerMate. And
Yes.
also, can we utilize the MCP with any kind of activities that we can
Right.
use within?
Great questions, actually. So, see, what we have done is you can build out audiences. Let me show you if I can show you an example. But see, these are two different things. So, MCP typically we would recommend you to use to build cross-platform reports. Why I say that is because, see, at the end of the day, Claude or ChatGPT, or these are generic systems. They don't have full context of your account. Like What's your
True,
goal?
true.
They don't know that, right? Whereas in SellerMate, you're setting goals. We know your history. We know your tracking, right? So when we say MCP, we have our own cloud MCP. People are building fantastic use cases on top of that. We've seen agencies running their full billing cycle on that, or we have seen brands combining Google, Meta, Amazon data, creating simultaneous dashboards. Fantastic use cases. What ends up happening is a lot of these use cases, right? You will not have as much control as you would want when it comes to Claude, right? So when we talk about MCP, right? So the best use cases of MCP we have seen so far is on reporting. It can be, within Amazon, or it can be within other things, or it can be cross-platform reports. But if you are really looking forward to create audiences, so let me show you an example. So you have multiple options. So one is you can create a rule-based audience from right here within SellerMate. So for example, you can say, any so create an lookalike audience, or create a rule-based audience for anybody who has clicked on my campaigns, or clicked on my ad for more than 10 times or 5 times, and bought.
Avinash, I have a question on that same topic. For audience type on AMC, what are the main one that you normally look into? If you can just mention some of the groups that you normally
It's
pick up or have seen within all this, in general, within this 2000 accounts that you already have.
Right. So, see, some are very basic, like, remarketing to anybody who has added to cart but not bought,
Yeah.
right? Um, Going after repeat purchases, so which is like, especially if you have a consumable product that, let's say, somebody buys every 2 months or 3 months, then
Yeah.
you go after anybody who has bought in between last 3 months to 6 months, right? So highly profitable. It's sort of an alternative to sponsored display, like a better version of sponsored display. You can do that via DSP, or you can do that via audience creation as well. Now, but what we also look at different use cases when it comes to these audiences, right? So especially, see, when we talk about creation of these audiences, it depends upon where you are in terms of brand. So I'll just give you an example. So let's say you are talking about a brand which is already on top in their category, right? Now, let's say they have like 35% market share in their category, 40, which is typical in an Amazon first brand is usually 30, 35%, 40%, right? Now, the return for that brand to spend more on remarketing is very low. Like, they're already where they can be in terms of market share. They may increase it a little bit by spending a lot of money, but they'll burn money as well on top. So they are very well advised to spend on expanding the category, so which is like top of funnel. How do I get more people to get to know about my category, and can I get track more buyers from other category? So again, an example would be, let's say you are selling electric toothbrush. So how do we know a high value customer who's regularly buying a premium toothpaste? Can I convert that into an electric toothbrush user if they're not already doing it, right? So that's something that a, a leader in a category can do. But let's say you are a new entrant, you're starting with a lower price, right? Because that's your market price. So what do? You target your competitors. You target people who may not have great ratings, are priced higher than you, may not have as good images. So you build an audience that way. There's certain aspect of it. There's certain no-brainers, as I call them, that you
Yeah.
should do, but which aspect of the funnel you should be going after has to depend upon where you are in terms of your brand and your brand positioning. You can be very well like, I don't care about top of funnel because I'm not a leader, which is like most of the brands out there, and I have a decent volume but not large enough for me to remarket. Then I'm in the middle of the funnel, where my whole target is, can I show my ad to somebody 3 times, because my data showed me that anybody who interacts with my ads 3 times, 4 times ends up buying it more often, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is that AMC, you look at data via the AMC and then build an audience based on that.
Got it. Yeah. Good. Nicely explained, Avinash.
Uh, Absolutely, thank you. And we have seen it. Like, we've seen people very effectively using AMC audiences. And Sebastian, you would know, like, you've been doing it for a long time, right? A few years back, it would be find those long tail keywords. Now, increasingly, those long tail keywords don't exist anymore. Everybody is advertising on long tail keywords. They were profitable earlier because of very few people would advertise on them. But with tools, with everybody getting more aware, you rarely find a keyword that nobody's advertising on. I don't think I've seen one in last 6 months. So it becomes so now what it's becoming increasingly important for you to bid on intent, which is what an AMC audience is, rather than on a keyword which can be agnostic of the intent where you want your customers to be.
Got it. Thank you, Avinash. Avinash, you're sharing something on the screen, or
Yeah, so I was just talking about, like, you can build your own rule based audience here, or you can use our seller bot to say, okay, this is the audience I want, and it will generate the SQL query for you that you can
okay?
use to.
So then you have to go back to Amazon and paste it there, or
You
you
can
can do it
create your
directly
audience.
from in this interface.
You can do that from here also.
Okay,
You can directly add an AMC audience from right here.
fantastic. And I want to touch base on the use case for DSP as well, because you have that functionality over there. And normally a seller will always think, okay, I need to spend hundreds of thousands per month in
Mhm.
order to be on the DSP side.
Right.
So there are a lot of things. So what will be your answer to those sellers?
See, anyway, so for me, the path to DSP starts first from AMC. Like, look at how big of an audience category do you have. Ideally, anybody spending more than $1,000 to $10,000 a month can get you good use cases out of DSP. And I'll tell you why DSP. So for them, especially towards the lower end of the category, what ends up happening is DSP is a better version of display ads. I don't like it. It's a very crude way to say it, but you get better levers with DSP. What type of people do you want to show your ads? Who is it that I want to retarget? So definitely your entry point is start with display retargeting, but the power of DSP is always going to be in top of funnel. Can I get more people into my funnel so that my total sales increase? And this is where we get a lot of questions also, like, how do I know my DSP is working if I'm spending on top of funnel? Absolutely, ROAS is not the right metric, right? But you can always look at, is my total sales increasing over time since I've started to spend on DSP? So total sales, has it increased since I've started to spend on DSP? So that's the way you look at DSP. ROAS is not the right metric, but in certain use cases, it's definitely one metric that you can look at. It's
Yeah.
usually impressions, touch points, and I do like to look at that, customer lifetime journey on, path to conversion on Amazon, because then you get to know if is DSP even an important, point for your customers.
That's very
Usually,
nice.
the answer is yes, but then the conversion cycle is a little longer. You
Yeah,
have to rely on, have to give it time. It's not an
true, true.
immediate conversion cycle that you typically see.
True, true, Avinash. And in terms of my last question will be in terms of results. Okay, this can be hours saved on labor. Okay, that's one metric using SellerMate, and also improvement on the advertising side. What kind of you mentioned, ROAS is not the right metric, but at least for now, what kind of improvement have you seen?
Obviously, it's always going to be the metric that people will look at.
Yeah,
Absolutely, no two ways about it. No, it's a good question. So, see, we have two distinct sort of cohorts which we serve. So when we talk about agencies, right? So agencies care a lot about, can my SOPs run well without somebody looking at it? So we frame it as time saved, which we have seen. You end up doing 75-80% less than what you were doing before SellerMate as an agency, but it's an important metric. When we so time saved is essentially an agency metric. Brands don't usually care about that. Means they do, but not in the sense that it's going to save me time. They care because then their PPC managers or their brand managers have ability to do more research, because a lot of execution is taken care of, right? Now, what brands really care about is, can you maintain sanity in my account? Can I put guardrails that otherwise people are likely to be? So I'll give you an example. So a mid-sized brand may be advertising on 4 or 5 e-commerce platforms. They'll be on Amazon, they'll be on Walmart, they'll be on Temu, they'll be on, maybe TikTok is coming up, and then obviously Europe has a lot of other big e-commerce players as well, right? Now, sometimes we have seen there are two people in the org that do all 3, 4, 5 platforms. Now, how do you ensure that sanity in each account is maintained, on each platform is maintained? So for Amazon, we take care of that using automation. The second is, there are things that the platform allows you to do that otherwise are not even possible for your team to do. So think day parting, like, nobody's going to stay up at 12 in the night and say, I want to reduce my bids now. Not possible. Or nobody is looking at your inventory report every day to know that my inventory is running low, and I want to pause it since across 120 campaigns now. Not possible. More likely than not, your PPC manager is letting those run because it's not worth the effort. There's maybe a higher value return somewhere else doing optimization on other platform or other things, right? So there are things that tools allow you to do at scale that otherwise are not possible for your team. So definitely when it comes to brands, ROAS, ACOS, total sales, market share, these are important metrics that we track with brands. In fact, it's a part of my daily or weekly conversation with my customer success team as well. Like, hey, how is each one of our customers doing? Are they doing better than they were doing a month ago? Agencies, on the other hand, they come with their own SOPs. They know what they want to do with each customers. So what they care about is, can I run it a little bit more efficiently? Can I save more time? So that's the very core of difference that we have seen.
Yeah, got it. Avinash, for the people who are watching this, is there any offers or like a free trials or anything like that you want to offer the people? And how does the setup look like? Initial setup look like? They can open the
Absolutely.
account and then link it, and you're done.
Right. So, right off the bat, yes, for all of your subscribers, we'll share a coupon code that you can put in the description, and anybody coming from this channel gets a 20% flat discount on their bills, and they also get a 14-day trial along with a dedicated customer support manager who will talk to them, do an audit on the account, help them get started on the tool. Okay. In terms of account setup, it's very straightforward. You sign up using any email ID and then use login with Amazon. It's a simple click of a button. You click, attach your account that you want to optimize, and that's it. It takes anywhere between 4 hours to 6 hours for data to sync, and then you're good to go after that.
Great.
Very short 2-3 minute process, not more than that.
Okay, so you can bring in all the child countries as well. So, for example, if UK is your main country, Europe and Germany, France, and everything, you can bring all the countries, right? And all the campaigns within them.
Absolutely. So when you click login on Amazon, so let's say you log in with an account with an email ID that has access to all of your marketplaces. All of them automatically get synced. You can pick if you want to sync only one or all of them. But yes, so we work across 20 different, all 2022 Amazon marketplaces. So all of your Amazon data can come into SellerMate directly with a single button click.
Great. Thanks a lot, Avinash, for sharing. You're very knowledgeable on this side. So thanks a lot for sharing all the information and sharing all this information. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. It was great talking to you, Sebastian. I hope to interact with you soon. Maybe a new topic, a little bit more in-depth conversation about specific.
Of course, yes.
But thank you so much for it.
All the links are in the description. So I will put LinkedIn profile link as well, and also the website link. So please do check it out. And any questions, you can pop a message directly to him on LinkedIn or through their website portal.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. All right then.
Thank you so much.